I reckon we can start. He doesn't want?
What was once again, Pierre?
Think of requirement, which is a re-one.
Oh, Pierre.
Bravo. Totally forgot what the sentence was.
Me too.
Let's move on. He doesn't want my opinion. Él no quiere mi opinión. Alright, cool. Alright, who wants my opinion? Bravo. ¿Quién quiere mi opinión? Bravo, well done. You might have heard somewhere mi casa, tu casa. You might have heard that in American, in which case it would be mi casa, tu casa. My house, your house. What we mean by that, of course, is make yourself at home. Same idea, different words. No? What we say in Spanish is mi casa, tu casa. My house, your house. What we say in English is make yourself at home. So, if that's my house, your house, how would you say your opinion? If mi casa, tu casa. Tu opinión. I don't want your opinion. With actitud española, por favor. Spanish actitud. No quiero tu opinión. With that emphasis, go on, enjoy it. No quiero tu opinión. Now is ahora, the word for now. That's A-H-O-R-A. The H is silent. Ahora. Ahora. Which I kind of don't like to make this joke, but it is true. So in Spanish, you know, people aren't very punctual. Like literally, I lived in Argentina a long time, I can say this. You call your friend and you'll be like, where are you, man? It's 11 o'clock. You said you'd be here at 10. Getting in the taxi means he's not in the shower yet. For real. So the word now, ahora, literally means to the hour. Why doesn't she want to eat at home now? So speaking new languages is about knowing how to break the idea up, right? Why doesn't she want to eat at home now? So the first bit is why. Forget about that bit, we said it. Doesn't she want? No quiere to eat at home. Bravo. ¿Por qué no quiere comer en casa ahora? Spanish is high pitched as well, it's not just me. Alright, I like these jokes written. I'm just really funny. Tension in Spanish. Tension. Tensión. I don't want tension at home. Bravo, bravo. I feel like I'm hearing more voices than there are people, so I'm very happy. No quiero tensión en casa. Decision, how would you say decision? Decisión. I want your decision now. Bravo. Quiero tu decisión ahora. What we've learned already, and what I'm about to tell you, we'll be able to make literally thousands and thousands of sentences in Spanish, or in other words, we will be able to express thousands of wildly different thoughts and ideas in Spanish. Things you might never imagine being able to talk about in Spanish. So we saw that words ending ion, we can quite literally convert over into Spanish. These are nouns, words that go with the aggression, the decision. If the noun ends ation, not only can we convert the noun over into Spanish, but we can also reliably find the verb from it. So, like I said, you could do this with hundreds of words now. So, for example, información, to inform is? Informar. Separation, the noun, separation, is? Separación. And then, to get the verb, we just say? Separar. Motivation. To motivate. Good. Inspiration. To inspire. Good. So this is going to make us better spellers in English, by the way, right? Because you have to be so sure how the words written in English, because a lot of the time in English we pronounce them kind of indifferent vowel in between, like does not exist in Spanish. Last time you probably know it, maybe. But it doesn't exist. You have a, e, I, o, so you have to decide what's going on there. Good. Elaboration. Elaboración. To elaborate. Manipulation. To manipulate. You see what I mean? Like, for real, you can say a lot. He wants to manipulate me. It's not very basic Spanish, is it? That's what I mean. He wants to manipulate me. Good. Quiere manipularme. I owe, like owing money, is debo, which is where we get that silent B in debt from Mystery Solved. So debo is I owe, and you can also use that like I must. I must conserve my reputation. Conservar.
Reputación.
Good. And in case you're sitting there thinking, this is useless unless I want to sound like an eloquent robot, too much Latin makes you sound like an eloquent robot in English. But it's just Spanish. Spanish is vulgar Latin. So it's kind of hard to sound formal in Spanish, right? So whilst we have rules for converting words from English to Spanish, this isn't just about the words you can translate, as I mentioned, but rather the ideas you can express. The same or similar enough ideas might live in different words, so to speak. You know, just like refurbish, you might find that in renovate, or how you find finish in terminate. So we don't want to be over-focused on words, but like zoom out a little bit to be focused on the idea, and that way we're more likely to find the word that we need to express the idea. The fastest way to fluency is getting good at finding those words to express all the things you didn't know you could express. And to do that, the most important thing is not deciding too soon that you don't know it. Like most of the time you can find a way there to express more or less what you want to say. But we're going to practice that. So for example, we might want to ask for someone's advice. We don't have the word for advice. No. If we zoom out on that idea, we can find another word that gets us where we want to go. So maybe we can ask for, instead of your advice, your recommendation. And it actually kind of means the same, doesn't it? And then if we find that we're always needing the word advice and we don't have it, we can look it up. But to speak and get something like fluency in the moment, no, you can just find the word. So, I want your recommendation. How would that be? Quiero tu recomendación. Good. So in the same way, you know, you can have the idea that you want someone to get involved. No? Alright, you can boil that down to I want your involvement. Then you go on over the word involvement. And then you just go, alright, do I have an Asian word that means involvement? Can anyone think of one? Participation. So then we've got it. We've expressed what we need to express. I want your participation. Good. And in some cases, like this case, that would be the most natural way to say it in Spanish. To say your involvement would sound like in an organized crime. Yeah. You might want to say something like to save. Talk about saving somebody from something. The first thing you'll notice is that you don't know how to say to save. But if you think about it, the second thing you'll notice is that you do know how to say to save. Salvation. Salvación, which means to save, then is salvar. He cannot save me. No puede salvarme. Sometimes there's a fine line between no puede and no quiere. I feel you. So now that we know the rule for finding ION nouns and also the rule for converting AT-ION nouns into verbs, we'll also notice these words around more in English, and that means that we can learn Spanish when we talk in English. All we have to do is like be thinking about it when we're exposing ourselves to English, and we'll say, oh, that's an Asian word. Oh, what would that be in Spanish? What would the verb be? So you don't even need to be talking Spanish to practice Spanish. Can I verify your address, please, por favor? Can I verify? What is I can I potent? Verification, I believe. Verificar. ¿Puedo verificar your address? No. Who speaks French? Someone over there speaks French. I thought I heard it. They want to understand your choice. We'll get to your choice. They want to understand? Quieren comprender. Good. Your choice. So for choice, we have national choices. What do we call them when we have national choices? When we choose our politicians. That's what I'm doing now. Elections. That's your word for choice. So he wants to understand your choice. Tu elección. You don't have to put it in plural like elections. Tu elección. Good. Quiere comprender tu elección. There's no other word for choice, by the way, in Spanish. It's the word for choice. So, like I say, sometimes the words will be a little bit vague and you'll be expressing your meaning like recommendation instead of advice, and sometimes you will just find the word that you use in Spanish. Elección means choice. He wants to understand your choice. Quiere comprender tu elección. Please, in Spanish, is por favor. Good. What do you reckon that might mean, literally, por favor? For favor. So, favor is favor. Between English and Spanish, it's full of patterns, like the ones that we've seen, and this is another one. So, favor, favor, doctor, tractor, tractor, motor, motor, color, color. Right? So when you notice just one word like that, you can go, I might have found a pattern here. No? And more than half the time you would have. H's are silent in Spanish, like I mentioned, like ahora, which is to the hour, the H is silent there. So how would you say horror? Horror. And people say in Spanish, un horror, un horror, terrible. I need a doctor. Necesito un doctor. Or you could say medic for doctor in Spanish, médico. Medico. That's also very common. I need a medic. I think we found another pattern. Medic, medico. Basic. Básico. Good. So how would you say my Spanish is a little bit basic? Pero mi español es un poco básico, but I can converse. But I can. Pero puedo to converse. Conversar, conversación, conversar. Mi español es un poco básico, pero puedo conversar. So a little is un poco. How would you say I want a little? Or I want a little bit. You don't have to. The bit's imagined. It's out there. Quiero un poco. Good. Because I want to try a little bit. Now, try. It's an obscure one. Probation, when you're out on probation, you're out on trial. So to try in the sense of trying something, like I'll try a little bit. Comprobación would be? Probar. I want to try a little bit. Quiero probar un poco. Good. Good. Good, good. How do you say my Spanish is a bit tragic? You can put some self-deprecating English humour in there. My Spanish is a bit tragic. Good. It's good to have humour. Mi español es un poco trágico. It's not. It's very. Right. So I said the word humour there. No, self-deprecating British humour. Humour is a word we can say in Spanish as well, isn't it? Humor. Favour pattern. No, humour, humor. Which can also mean mood, by the way. Like we can say good humour in English. That's just the word for mood. Humor in Spanish. How would you say the doctor doesn't get my humour? What do we mean there by get when we say doesn't get? So those are words, but what's the idea there? Understand. Good. So the doctor doesn't understand. My humour. Mi humor. I'm going home because I have to finish the preparation. So, I'm going home. We split the thought up. I'm going home. Voy a casa. Because. ¿Por qué? I must finish. I must is debo. To finish. Terminating. Terminar the preparation. Say, just dividing up the most complicated thought. It's only ever like one tiny little thought and another little thought and another little thought. You just have to split up. So the easiest way to do that is to think about forming legalización, to think about forming the noun, and then when you get into the end, like trick yourself. It's easier than like mentalizing the whole thing at the beginning. So you got because the accent is on the same place, you can do that. Legalización, legalizar, legalidad. I'm not going to justify them. I'm not going to justify them. So don't get overwhelmed by the idea. You break the idea up. I'm not going. That's the first part of the idea. No boy. I'm not going. To justify. Good, but you have a je sound here, which sounds much nicer in French. But in Spanish you get Good, and then. Los. Good. I'm not going to justify them. No voy a justificarlos. Good. So how would you say we are going to fix them? Again, it's something you shouldn't expect to know how to say, but when you think about it, you realise you do. Fix is a kind of Germanic word. It's like short, punchy words tend to be. We probably have a Latin word to say the same thing that we can convert it to Spanish. Reparation, reparación, reparar. Okay, good. So I mentioned that we have a formal and an informal you, that when we want to be formal to somebody in Spanish, we talk to them in this very strange way. We say, how is she doing today? And we mean you. Other languages do that. Like Japanese, for example, will like talk to Akiko and say, how is Akiko today? To Akiko, right? So that's what we're doing in Spanish. If you want to be informal or familiar, you can add an S to the he, she form. So for example, we have come, he eats. But if you want to say you eat in a chilled way, no, familiarly, you add an S. So come becomes comes. Good. The public event is cancelled because they can't identify the forged invites. So, we've said the first thing. El evento público está cancelado because. ¿Por qué? They can't identify. We need to split that idea up more to be able to focus all on they can't. We want all of our focus not on what we're going to say, what we need to say now. They can't. No pueden. Identify. Identificación. No pueden identificar. They can't identify the forged invites. So for invites we also have invitations. And for forged we could find something like falsification, couldn't we? Falsificación. So give me just one at the moment, one singular forged invitation. That's going to be invitación, what, from falsificada? Invitación falsificada. Good. Bravo, las invitaciones falsificadas. I give you some ridiculous sentences just to make the point. Just to make the point that you can say things you've never imagined being able to say. Perder means to lose. Again, we have this word all over English. Perishable food shares this root. Rottable, losable food. Perdition is a total spiritual loss, right? Perdition. Also, by the way, pedo, far in Spanish, comes from this word. Little loss. So, perder is to lose, which means lost is perdido. Good. I want to start the annual meeting. Good. You said el reunión, but what is it? Words that end ion? What are they? Feminine, bravo. La reunión? Anual ends al. Annual means año means year, which is also round, if you think about it. In anillo, ring, the io means little. I told you what annual means already. That's fun. So, quiero comenzar la reunión anual. I want to start the annual meeting. Bravo. Alright. So, not only do we have this endless source of adjectives to tap into, I said we were going to learn the past, didn't I? And we can use these adjectives to go into the past. In the same way you can say, it is started in English, you can say, I have started. That's a past tense. Now, this have past in Spanish is much more common than it is even in English. So it's super useful. So if you want to say, she hasn't published the dissertation because she can't justify the investigation. For example, you're going to begin with, she hasn't published. So what is she hasn't? No ha. If she hasn't, no ha. Published? From publicar? The dissertation? Bravo. No ha publicado la disertación because she can't, no puede justify, from justification, the investigation. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like, you know, I'm there and I'm like, there's some context. No ha publicado la disertación porque no puede justificar la investigación. To register? I have registered it. The word for it we mentioned was law. It's going to come at the beginning here and say, it, I have registered. Between you all, I don't understand. Lo he registrado. We nearly finished it. I know this is quite the workout. I know. Lo he registrado. We didn't sleep last night. Now, we haven't slept last night sounds weird in English, doesn't it? I think in most people's English, we haven't slept last night. But it's perfect Spanish. Perfect Spanish. So, we haven't slept last night. We didn't sleep last night. No hemos dormido anoche. Bravo. No hemos dormido anoche. So now we're a bit tired because we've learned a lot of Spanish. Right, so, we are a bit tired. Estamos un poco cansados because we have apprehended. From aprender, we have learned. Hemos aprendido a lot of Spanish, much Spanish. Mucho español, bravo, guys. Well done. So, now, if you guys sit there and you're like, what did I just learn? Let me make a list of it. It's not going to work. Don't even try. What you need to try and do is talk. Even if it's just to yourself, or you can. And what you'll do is you'll realize that these ideas and how to build these sentences, they come back to you. Now, if you insist on that, all of this will grow. And then also, you also have complete Spanish to do this, 100% free online, to do this slowly, in real time, relaxed.